Let me start with 2 points. Number one, according to a report published in the Financial Express, 60% of India's workforce is not satisfied at work. And number two, India is suffering from major challenges and problems. The rural literacy rate in India is just 67%. Malnourishment is at 17%. And more than 14 crore people in India still live below the poverty line. And then there are many other major challenges like mental health and climate change. So the question or the thought that I'm trying to answer today is, are these 2 points interrelated? And if so, how? Hi, my name is Utsav. I am one of the 32 changemakers of this year's FAIR project. So let's begin. So I think let's start with point number one. Why are people not happy at work or even in general life? And it's interesting. I see people on one hand who work for 8 hours a day but are really unhappy with their job. But I also see people on the other hand who work 12 hours a day or even more but are really happy with their job and really live a fulfilled life. And I often wonder that why is this the case? So I think maybe to understand that, we need to understand what actually makes humans happy. And what I found was that true happiness occurs only when you find the problems that you enjoy having and enjoy solving. Happiness is a constant work in progress because solving problems is a constant work in progress. The solutions to today's problems will lay the foundation for tomorrow's problems. So in simple terms, happiness actually comes from having problems that we enjoy having and solving them. So now on one hand we have these people who are not happy because, as I explained, they're actually missing a problem that they enjoy having and enjoy solving. And on the other hand, we have these massive problems in the world like education, climate change, etc. So now, do you think the both then can answer each other, right? So now, how can we actually bridge this gap between people being unhappy and these world problems? So I think the answer to this question actually lies in contribution. Contribution in life, I think, is really important to live a fulfilled life. And something I remember, and even my friends during college, when we used to talk about what we want to do in life or what kind of a work we want to do, many of us didn't have the exact answers that I wanted to go into finance or I want to go into social entrepreneurship or something like that. But something that many of us had in common was that I want to do a work that creates an impact. We wanted to have this impact. We wanted to have this contribution in life. But as suggested by the Indian Express, by the survey that's published in Financial Express, many of us have not been able to find that work that makes us happy by actually creating an actual impact. And sometimes the work that we are doing is not creating an impact, but at the other time, there is also some kind of work that we are doing and is actually creating an impact, but the impact is so far away from us that we cannot imagine it. For example, say a researcher who is working on a research paper around water. So where he's on his desk doing his research or even doing some primary research and publishing a report. But now what happens next? He publishes that report in the public forum, but will it be picked up? Will someone actually read it and then try and solve the issue? Will it be picked up by some government official? He doesn't know. So his work might create an impact 10 years down the line, but he cannot really imagine it. So that also leads to some sense of unfulfillment. So I think the answer then lies in direct contribution, right? And so how can we actually contribute? So it's easy to just say that just contribute, but what can I contribute? How can I contribute? Where can I contribute? Are some questions that maybe we need to answer. So the why is clear because contribution is what actually makes us happy. Creating an impact is what actually makes us happy. But how much can I contribute? Yeah, I don't earn enough money. Then what? So I think a good place to start for someone who is a working professional is just contributing 2% of their salary. For someone who's 1 lakh, who's earning a lakh rupees a month, it could be 2,000 rupees. Just 2%. For someone who's working and earning just 30,000 rupees a month, it could be just 600 rupees. Right? So it could be just 2%. And then the third question is, where should I contribute? So I think one can contribute in any social issue that one feels inspired towards. And when you look back, you'll always find something that you were really passionate about and you wanted to contribute in. For example, for me, I learned to play basketball at a local basketball court which is just near in my society. And that sort of created my identity. It really helped me get a lot of things in life. So that is something that I am passionate about and I contribute there. So there could be something, when you look back, you'll find something or some social issue that you were inspired by, and you can maybe start contributing there, just 2%. And maybe you can start with that and see how it makes you feel. Right? So I think that's one level of it, what the working professionals can do and how they can start contributing and building a culture around it. Maybe you can find other people who also want to contribute, and even in the same direction or even for the same social issue, and then we can collaborate and come together and create a bigger impact and also make a fulfilling society and a fulfilling life. Right? So that's one side of it. But then how can we also build a bigger culture of contribution? So I think for this, we need to go back to the grassroots, to the most basic level, and that is starting from the school education. So the parents who give their kids some pocket money, they can also ask those kids to contribute a part of that pocket money into some social issue. This can actually help us build that culture of contribution. And you know what's interesting is that if that kid contributes that portion of his money into something, and it changes, we change it relatively with time. Say for example, 3 months he contributes something in animal rescue or things like that, and then he changes it to climate change or how he can help in the water crisis. What small steps can he do? And he start doing those things, start making that contribution of 2% of time, energy and resources, then maybe he or she is actually able to find a calling and find a direction in which they want to lead their life, and later on maybe build a career in that. And what better than actually doing something that you love doing, finding a social cause that you are really passionate about, and then building a career around it. They could become a social entrepreneur in animal rescue or in plantation or in creating greener energy, right? How amazing can that be? But this may or may not be the case. But at the second level, the second thing that we will definitely build if we start building this culture of contribution from ground up is something that I feel the world is really missing right now. If that contribution could also be just giving food packets to poor people at times or helping an injured animal, we will actually build a lot of empathy and kindness in the world, which I believe is somewhere missing. And along with that, it will also give us a sense of gratitude for what we already have. Right, so this is the bare minimum that one will get out of contributing 2%. And especially from building it ground up from the schools level. If our society or if the structure that we live in, we're able to try to do something like this. So now I definitely understand that what I'm trying to communicate may sound a little idealistic and may sound a bit of a distant dream, but this is something that I feel deeply about, and a conversation that I think we should start. Why are we still getting our status from having a lot of money, and the society is not giving status to people who are actually contributing a lot? We are deriving status from having a lot, but if we are able to switch it from deriving status by contributing a lot, I think the world can really become a great place. So this is about what I actually wanted to communicate, but I just want to end with 2 points around contribution again. Something that I've really learned over the course of time. So number one is, I watched a Barack Obama podcast recently, or an interview of him recently, and he said something that really stuck with me. around this idea of contribution. So the thought is, whenever you try to contribute, even in the bigger picture, you might imagine or you might think that me just planting 4 trees won't really solve the climate crisis, right? So for something around that, Barack said, and I remember it exactly, he said, learn to understand that better is good. You don't really need to change the entire planet, or you don't really need to change the entire situation or the problem. If you are able to just make it better, that is good. That's good enough. It's a great help. It's a great start. And then the second point is also related to it, which is that you can only inspire people. You planting those 4 trees won't really solve the problem in the entire country. But maybe you planting those 4 trees can inspire someone else to also plant some trees. Right? And then from there on, the person next to him can get inspired. And that is actually how social change becomes and comes into practice. So we need to, there are these major challenges which needs collective action. One person cannot really solve it. But none of us are somewhere trying to, or many of us are somewhere not doing something about it because we think that just our contribution won't solve it. But your contribution can really, really inspire the person to the left of you and to the person to the right of you. And then it can inspire others as well. And that is how social change actually comes into play, right? So I would like to close this by just a quote that I did not understand 10 years back and I thought was stupid, but something I understand better today, which is by Mahatma Gandhi, and it says, be the change you want to see in the world. And I hope you start contributing. Thank you.